Right now, the United States is caught in a dangerous overlap of extreme winter systems. Just as millions are still struggling to recover from the devastation left behind by Winter Storm Fern, a new blast of Arctic air and snow is sweeping across large parts of the country. The timing could not be worse. Winter Storm Fern, which tore across North America in January, has already been linked to at least 153 deaths, making it one of the deadliest winter storms in recent memory. Roads were shut down for days, power grids were pushed to their limits, and entire cities were forced to pause. And while cleanup efforts are still ongoing, winter has not loosened its grip. Now, another system has arrived, fast-moving, deceptively powerful, and dangerous in a different way. Meteorologists are tracking an Alberta Clipper, a type of winter storm known for speed rather than size. These systems don't always bring record-breaking snowfall, but what they lack in accumulation, they make up for with intense cold, strong winds, and sudden whiteout conditions. As this clipper races from the Great Lakes toward the northeast, it is pulling brutally cold air behind it. Wind chills in some regions are dropping close to minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit, cold enough to freeze exposed skin in minutes. Near blizzard conditions are developing in higher elevations, particularly across parts of West Virginia and the Appalachian Mountains, while snow squalls are creating sudden hazards across the Midwest and Northeast. According to the National Weather Service and NOAA's Weather Prediction Center, at least 12 states are now directly affected, including Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, Massachusetts, and Connecticut. For millions of people, this is not just another winter inconvenience. It's a serious safety threat. Most locations are seeing relatively modest snowfall totals, generally 1 to 3 inches. But that number doesn't tell the full story. Downwind of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, lake-effect snow bands are intensifying, dumping 4 to 5 inches or more in short periods of time. These bands are being driven by powerful winds, creating blowing and drifting snow that rapidly reduces visibility. And this storm is hitting areas that are already exhausted. Road crews, emergency responders, hospital staff, and utility workers have been operating non-stop since Fern. Many communities never fully recovered before this next wave arrived. Snowbanks still line streets. Ice still clogs drains and sidewalks. And infrastructure weakened by earlier storms is now under renewed stress. This is what makes the current situation especially dangerous. It's not just the weather itself, but the cumulative impact. In parts of the Midwest and Northeast, temperatures plunged overnight as the Clipper moved in. Gusts exceeding 40 miles per hour turned light snowfall into near-whiteout conditions. In rural and mountainous regions, travel quickly became treacherous. Even major highways were not immune. Officials are urging people to stay off the roads whenever possible, warning that conditions can deteriorate in minutes. A stretch of pavement that looks clear can suddenly turn into a sheet of ice under a passing snow squall. Meanwhile, millions of Americans are waking up to yet another morning of winter alerts, wondering how long this pattern will last, and whether their homes, vehicles, and families can handle another hit. As we move forward, we'll take a closer look at where conditions are worst right now, how this storm is impacting the Appalachians and New England, and why the cold itself may be the most dangerous factor of all. While much of the attention is focused on snowfall totals and weather maps, some of the most dangerous conditions are unfolding in the higher elevations of the Appalachian region, especially in West Virginia. Overnight, the Alberta Clipper intensified as it crossed the mountains, transforming ridgelines and high elevation communities into near-whiteout zones. Snowfall quickly piled up, with some areas receiving up to 9 inches in a relatively short window. But it wasn't just the snow that made this storm dangerous. It was the wind. Wind gusts reaching 50 to 60 miles per hour whipped snow into the air, drastically reducing visibility. On exposed mountain highways such as Interstate 68 and US Route 219, drivers reported being unable to see more than a few hundred yards ahead, sometimes much less. The National Weather Service issued winter storm warnings and used language that is never chosen lightly: life-threatening travel. In mountainous terrain, conditions can change faster than almost anywhere else. Snow drifts form rapidly, blocking lanes and trapping vehicles. Emergency response times are longer, and if a vehicle slides off the road, help may be hours away, if it can reach you at all. State and local officials urge urged residents to stay home unless travel was absolutely necessary. In some areas, schools delayed openings or closed entirely. Snowplow crews worked through the night, but even they struggled against blowing snow and rapidly refreezing surfaces. And then there's the cold. As Arctic air poured in behind the storm, wind chills dropped to extreme levels. In exposed areas, temperatures combined with wind made it feel dangerously cold, cold enough to cause frostbite in minutes. For people without reliable heating, this became a serious emergency. Older homes, particularly in rural areas, can lose heat quickly in these conditions. Power outages, even brief ones, carry real risk when temperatures are this low. Emergency shelters were placed on standby. Local agencies asked residents to check on elderly neighbors and anyone living alone. In winter storms like this, isolation can be deadly. But the Appalachians were only the beginning. As the storm core continued eastward, its impact spread toward New England, carrying snow, wind, and bitter cold with it. And unlike mountainous West Virginia, New England's challenge would be density. More people, more traffic, and far less room for error. For millions of people across New England, the danger arrived quietly. Early morning snow, gusty winds, and temperatures well below freezing. In cities and towns like Albany, Bennington, and parts of coastal Massachusetts, fresh snowfall of 2 to 6 inches coated roads, sidewalks, and driveways. Along the heavily traveled Interstate 95 corridor, stretching from New York through Connecticut and toward Boston, the combination of snow and freezing temperatures created a slick mix of ice and slush. Morning commuters stepped outside into wind gusts near 40 miles per hour, with wind chills dropping well below zero. Parents bundled children for school. Healthcare workers headed to early shifts. Snowplow crews ran back-to-back routes, racing to keep roads passable. But the storm refused to settle into a predictable pattern. Brief but intense snow squalls swept through parts of Ohio, Pennsylvania, and the Great Lakes, suddenly dropping visibility and flash freezing roads that looked clear moments earlier. These squalls are particularly dangerous because drivers often don't slow down in time. Behind all of this, the cold continued to deepen. Meteorologists warned that in interior New England and higher terrain, wind chills near minus 30 degrees posed a serious risk. Exposed skin can freeze quickly at those temperatures. Even a short walk outside without proper protection can become dangerous. Along major urban corridors, the risk extended beyond frostbite. Slips and falls on icy sidewalks sent people to emergency rooms already strained by winter illnesses. Public transit systems faced delays. Flights were canceled or postponed as crews worked to de-ice aircraft. And all of this was happening on top of Fern's lingering damage. Snowbanks still clog streets in Washington, D.C., ice piles block parking lots. In cities like Nashville, cleanup crews and volunteers continued clearing debris left behind by the earlier storm. Power systems, including solar installations, remained under stress from prolonged cold and snow cover. This overlapping strain is what makes the current situation so serious. It's not just one storm, it's a chain reaction. According to NOAA's Weather Prediction Center, there is some cautious good news. The Alberta Clipper is expected to slide off the New England coast later today, allowing steady snowfall to taper off from west to east. But that does not mean the danger is over. Strong winds and bitter cold are forecast to persist at least through tomorrow morning, especially along the New England coast and downwind of the Great Lakes. Wind chills will remain hazardous. Blowing snow may continue to reduce visibility, and icy roads will remain a serious threat. The next 24 hours are critical. Anyone who must travel, works outdoors, or relies on electric heat in older homes should take extra precautions. Officials recommend charging phones and backup batteries, keeping extra blankets nearby, and avoiding unnecessary travel during bursts of heavy snow or squalls. Checking on elderly neighbors or anyone living alone can make a real difference. In extreme cold, small problems can escalate quickly. Some meteorologists believe this could be the last major cold punch of the season for the Northeast. But winter isn't finished yet. Not until the wind eases, the ice melts, and temperatures climb safely above freezing. Tonight's message is simple but serious. The United States is still living with the scars of Winter Storm Fern, while a fast-moving Clipper adds fresh snow, dangerous cold, and new risks from the Great Lakes to New England. For the next day or so, small decisions matter. Staying off icy roads when possible, taking the cold seriously, looking out for one another. If this update helped you understand what's happening, consider sharing this video and subscribing so